This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
Boy, we're going to start off hot. Actually, let's
Yes, we are.
All right, this is the practice squad, and this one's going to start off hot. Coming up a little bit later on, Stroz, I'm dealing with interns every single day, and it's creating such a confusion in my mind that we're going to get to.
Any of them hot? Got any hot interns?
Often you ask that question, I'm not willing to answer. I feel so much younger than I am now, and I know a lot of people feel one way or the other, but we're going to dig into that because Stroz, you're an old man and you're starting to feel it. And then if insert player here has a breakout season, the Lions will have a better season than predicted. We're not going to include Jared Goff on that because every quarterback in the league could be on that list for their team. Honestly, Stroz, I kind of have an idea where I'm going there. I'm probably going to bend some rules on that question.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I might do the same.
Oh, of course you will, because you're the one.
My thought process was, I wonder if we pick the same person.
I think it's possible.
Which I think would be really, really interesting if we do.
I think it's possible.
It's going to be interesting.
We don't often give Stroz the floor to pop off on this show. Not to say it's like that's not an intentional decision. I more often come with something where I'm like, hey, this is an opinion I have I want to talk about, and you're just kind of along for the ride. You, through text to me, seemed to have a lot to say about everything going on at Michigan with the recent comments about Bo Schembechler knowing of abuse that took place and essentially helping cover it up. And you know, I hadn't followed it super closely. I had kind of been aware of it. I decided to, to get ready for this topic. I read a little bit more of it, watched a couple videos before we started today, but I am going to give you the floor to kind of let things go where they go.
So let me break out my flamethrower so I can burn it all to the ground. And look, I'm speaking to you Michigan fans, you Michigan supporters, you Michigan loyalists. Look, I love Michigan. I made no bones about it. You and I both worked for the same radio show, and I was one of those Michigan guys. Like, I was dumb Michigan guy. Like, yeah, go blue, yay, blue Kool-Aid, maize.
You definitely have more Michigan Kool-Aid than Lions Kool-Aid in you.
For sure. I was that guy, or I am that guy. I don't know where I'm at right now. But what has unfolded over the last couple weeks, I think, has been a complete embarrassment for the university. I think the way the university has handled this has been absolutely appalling. You have Dr. Anderson, who has passed away, but has been accused of sexually assaulting and abusing over 900 individuals. The university itself hasn't come out and really given a clear-cut statement on anything. If anything, they kind of like just blow it off a little bit. There's no real remorse from the university. And here's the thing. The regents, the board of trustees, all the people in power at the University of Michigan, they weren't there when all these things were going on. But you're the face of the university currently. Basically, what's happened is somebody's pooped in a diaper, set it on your dinner table, and said, here, fix this. And now you can do one of two things with it. You can roll around in it, you can smear it on your face, and you can smell like shit, which the University of Michigan is doing a really good job of this. And I'll get into reasons why I feel that way. Or you can pick it up and you can throw it out and you can clean up the situation and move on with your day. Offer an apology to the victims, acknowledge their pain, acknowledge their suffering. And honestly, this is going to come with a bit of a payment. And then you kind of have to.
Should.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to have to retcon a little bit of your history, to use a comic book term. Everything with, and look, we can get into a debate on whether Bo knew, Bo didn't know. I don't really care if he knew or didn't know. Okay, the issue here is it happened when he was there. That was his doctor for his players. So
I absolutely think it matters if he knows or not. But how can we argue it at this point?
Well, that's the thing too, right? So the University of Michigan tried to get out in front of it, and they're like, "Hey, we'll have an independent counsel come out, and they'll do their own investigation." They returned with like a 300-page dossier, and we're kind of like, "Hey, all the people are dead, but it's quite strong to yeah, it almost definitely happened. And the University of Michigan's like, okay, cool, thanks. We're just going to shove that into the trash. What? What are we talking about here? You have to recognize, like, the whole thing with Michigan and Michigan athletics, it's all based upon everything that Bo said and Bo
Absolutely.
did. So this is why you have to retcon your history.
He's essentially a god to Michigan football.
No, exactly. He's a man-made legend that's become now a god, and you have to flush your system of this. You can no longer have the team. You can't basically have Bo knows. You can't do these things anymore. You have to move away from it, and that's okay. Look at Ohio State. Ohio State doesn't walk in the footsteps of Woody. Look at Alabama. Alabama doesn't walk in the footsteps of Bear Bryant. You can move away. It's okay. It's not going to hurt, guys. Honestly, it's not going to hurt. I think my biggest issue with a lot of this is a guy like Jim Brandstatter being empowered to go and do interviews. And during his interviews, basically breaks out his own flamethrower and just kind of inflames everything that's going on. Cast dispersions on the players. Instead of actually addressing what they're talking about, he instead finger points and says, oh no, he got kicked off the team because he did drugs. Or basically whistleblows for donors to step up and have donors leverage to keep this quiet and to hush this and to shove it underneath the rug. And then to basically victim shame these people who are claiming that Dr. Anderson inappropriately touched them. Like, here's the thing. This is what you have to understand. Jim Brandstatter does not get the ability to go out and do this interview or speak like this without it being pre-approved, without it being okayed, because he is the face and he is the voice of Michigan football right now. He's not allowed to just, hey, I'm going to go do an interview and talk about this. No. There are checks and balances that have to be crossed off and marked before he can even go and sit in front of a microphone.
And I'll say this. They may not necessarily they may not have said, yes, you're allowed to say these things. No, you're not allowed to say these things. But they have every single ability to come out and say, we do not agree with the comments made by Jim Brandstatter. And those are one of the things that I read today as I was trying to, become a little bit more aware of some of the depth of all of this story. And he made it sound like it's not fair to connect Bo to this. We're not connecting Bo through this because it happened during his time. It's not, because you know what? While I wouldn't necessarily agree that it's not fair to connect him at all, like, his players were assaulted. So on some level, like, yeah, man, like, even if you weren't helping cover things up, I still wish you would know. I'm not going to crush you. He's not the problem. He's still not the number one problem, but boy, he's up there. But it's so much deeper than that. This isn't just he was the coach during this time. His own son says he told his dad, and his dad punched him. And I get he's not alive to talk about it. We're not saying the man needs to be thrown in jail. He can't be. There's nothing we can do to hurt him. But if you're more worried about his legacy than the people who were harmed because of things he helped cover up, you gotta look at that closer.
Yep. There's a bit of a problem there. If you're more concerned with his legacy, how he looks, he's dead. He's dead. Let it go. It's okay.
I'm not saying it should be blown away for no reason, but I think 3 players I read, right? 3 players of his said they told him, and his son said they told him. Mm-hmm. How many more people do we need? His son said he told him.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of this kind of gets all wrapped back into Bo, right? So he had players come to him and say, hey, coach, this happened. This is what's going on. Bo apparently went to Canham and told Canham, who was the athletic director at the time. And then Canham didn't do anything. He dropped the ball. All right. So the thing is, this goes back to the whole thing with Michigan State and the way Michigan State handled a lot of things. There were people who made reports and said, this is going on. It was supposed to be ran up a flagpole. Even Penn State, same shit happened at Penn State. It was supposed to be ran up a flagpole. And then the whole ball got dropped. All right. If that's the case, if that is actually what happened, the ball got dropped. He did his job, ball got dropped. Still, Look at what happened in Penn State. Penn State had to take down their statue of Joe Paterno. They had to basically scrub a bunch of their history. You have to do the same thing. There are over 900 people. That doctor was supposed to be Bo's doctor. There are over 900 people that have now come out and attested. And there's this massive lawsuit that's brewing. And the fact that this is not being covered more nationally blows my mind. But
well, you know what I would tell you? This is becoming commonplace. This is the third story from, and I'll be honest, there might be more that I'm missing because they're not as big nationally. This is the third story in the Big Ten in the last, 15, 20 years?
Yep. I mean, it's absolutely appalling that we're here. And the fact that people are basically taking sides, it's Bo's word, which Bo can't speak, he's dead, remind you, versus a report that was compiled and presented and has facts and data, and these old blue hairs just want to latch on to a dead man so damn bad that they're willing to basically give the finger to 900 sexually assaulted victims. And it could be a little bit that, most of them are men. That being the case, that shouldn't matter. That shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't. I can't even believe you added to mention that. That doesn't mean anything.
I think for a lot of, especially a lot of older gentlemen, it is viewed that way because, well, if I was there, I'd have punched him in the face. No, you wouldn't have. The power structure inside high-powered college football is absolutely insane. Well, basically, your head football coach is your god. You report to him. Anything you want to do, it doesn't get past him. He will swat you down and put you back in your place. You're on scholarship. He can pull that scholarship.
And Stroz, the world is of college football now. I would suggest you have so much more as a player to give you power, to empower you that you didn't have during Bo's time. It's just I understand how it's hard to hear that this idol you have did these things, but we have so many examples throughout human history of people in power abusing their power to do bad things. And it's not always sexual assault. It's plenty of things. But, is it really that hard to believe that anything in college athletics, a place where the power structure is an absolute nightmare, is it really that hard to believe that people are doing bad things because they know they can get away with them? I get that it's hard to hear about that. You're allowed to be sad. Honestly, I'm going to say this. You are allowed to be sad about what this means about Bo. You are. It shouldn't be the priority here, but I'm not going to fault you for having those emotions. If he's somebody, and I'm not so much talking about fans as I am former players who have stood up for him. I get it. This man was important to you. For many of them, he probably is father figure-like. You're allowed to feel sadness about what he did. If your actual father committed serious crimes or helped cover them up, you would feel sad about that. I get that. What you don't get to do is come out and say, the person I know wouldn't do that. Nobody ever thinks that people important in their life would do those things.
Yep. No, I agree with you 100%. You are allowed to be upset. You're allowed to feel how you feel about it.
And honestly, you're allowed to think he didn't do those things.
Yeah.
Just don't say it publicly.
That being said, and that being the case, let's look at the facts here. I mean, do you think that 900 people all came together and were like, hey, I got a way for us to make some money. Let's collude, and let's say that we were inappropriately touched by a doctor who died roughly, 5 years ago. Maybe it was even 2 years ago. I don't even know how long ago Anderson died. Let's say he touched us. If you're a guy, let's say he stuck a finger in your butt and played with your balls. Okay? And then what we can do, all 900 of us, we can say we want a ton of money from the university, and the university is going to have to come out and pay us. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Do you hear me? On top of that, it's not like these 900 people all know each other. They didn't all go to school at the exact same time. That guy, Anderson, was the doctor at that university for decades. The whole time Bo was there. Bo's career stretched at almost 20 years, maybe longer. I'd have to look to be 100% sure. But Bo was there forever. That was Bo's guy. That was his doctor. He needed a player to play. Who'd he go to? He went to Anderson. He's like, hey, how's his knee? All right, shoot it up. Let's go. He's got to play. And it was done. That's how these things worked. It's what it was. Just stop and think before you open your mouth and say something stupid. And listen, I am the god of saying stupid things. I say a lot of ignorant
When Stroz
stuff.
tells you to stop and listen, you stop and listen.
I mean, it just like stop for a minute and like critically think. Don't necessarily like I'm an emotional guy. I'm a really emotional guy, and usually where I speak usually comes from a place of emotion. All right. But put your emotions aside. Put your love for a dead man aside. Put your love for the university aside, and just look at what is transpiring. Look at what is happening. 900 people say that they were touched. If you listen to their stories, they're all pretty much the exact same. They all happen the exact same way. That is too much of a coincidence for this to just be some made-up crap just to try to get a payday, as Brandstatter said. You know, it just stop for a minute. Use your brain. You have one. Just use it. Honestly, it's not going to hurt. Think about it. The way the university has handled this has been absolutely deplorable. Deplorable for them to not come out and at this point even acknowledge what is being said. You had on Wednesday, you had over 40 new people show up at the university and hold a press conference to discuss what has happened to them and how it's impacted their lives. And for the university, whether you're a board of trustee or you're part of the board of regents, for you to basically give half-hearted and half-assed answers to these claims is one, insulting. Two, it borders on victim shaming, which is just downright disgusting. Three, it is disgusting. The fact that look, these people are incredibly smart. Everybody who's on this board, incredibly smart. For you to not be able to put thought and a little bit of compassion behind some words and deliver something that can break down some of these walls that are starting to go up. It's absolutely nuts. You know, on my other podcast with John, we talked about some of this, and we got to a point where we were talking about how there's this massive division in the university right now. You have people who basically side with Bo and believe what they want to believe, and then you've got the side that is kind of looking at things and like, yeah, that probably did happen. And what you're finding is people are basically building up their walls all the way up. And I don't know if the university has ever been this split and this divided. It was really bad when Rich Rod was the football coach, and it was pretty bad when Brady Hoke towards the end of his tenure, and it was bad when Dave Brandon was there. Like the football program itself was in complete and utter disarray, which trickled over into the university. This right here is a university problem that is trickling over into the football aspect of things, and it is created such a chasm between all these people who are either Michigan fans or are part of that fraternity of going to the School of Michigan, that it's absolutely disgusting and it's sickening to watch. And honestly, it's like PR 101 could really solve a lot of this. Just address the situation. You didn't screw up. Nobody's saying that you screwed up. Denise Illich, nobody's saying you messed up. Mark Schlissel, nobody's saying you screwed up. Jim Harbaugh, nobody's saying you screwed up. You guys are now the face of the university that had this happen, that this was screwed up on. Now fix it. It's your job to fix it.
The last thing I would like to say is when a lot of these things come up, the side that defends, like you said, there's the side that defends Bo. That side is so caught up in the idea of, we can't prove he's guilty. He's dead. He can't speak out for himself. And like those things are true. And it's the reason a dead man can't be put in jail. We're not held to the same standard when we're simply talking about a legacy. The standard for being put in jail is we need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, right? That's not the case here. And I would argue, yeah, I don't necessarily have anything more than circumstantial evidence, but having 3 players and his son is a big kicker. If it's one or the other, if his son says that, you go, okay, maybe the dude had a problem with his dad. I still don't think that way, but fine. If it's just the 3 players, I mean, that's still 3 players. But like we have it coming from multiple angles. There's a lot of reason to believe that this is accurate. And so, yeah, I do look at Bo differently. Not that now, admittedly, neither of us had, I assume you didn't, the same love around this football coach that, did what he did well before I was ever watching.
Mm-hmm. I watched a couple games when he was head coach, right? Because I'm older than you.
But you didn't watch the the Bo tenure.
Right. Here's the thing. I would say this. I didn't have the love that my grandmother would have for him. Right. My grandmother was the one who introduced me to Michigan football. I myself was kind of beholden to Gary Moeller and to Lloyd Carr. Now those guys also on Bo's staff while Anderson was there. You can call them into question as well because look, some of their players, I'm assuming,
that's where the difference
had these
is. Where
issues.
it's like there's a difference between, in that point, you can call them into question, but we don't have players coming out and saying, "I told Lloyd," right?
No, exactly.
Like, we have people, including his son, coming out and saying, "Hey, we told Bo."
What do you make of the people who try to disparage because it's his adopted son, it's not his blood son? Like,
did he choose to adopt him?
Jim Brandsetter said, "Yeah, exactly."
I mean, was he adopted against the will of Bo? Exactly. He's your son.
He's your son. That's
and I think I honestly, I think that's disgusting. And if it goes the way, I sure hope you don't have anybody adopted in your life if you think that makes any difference.
I agree.
On a much lighter note, we're going to move forward. Coming up in a little bit, the Lion who could improve the record of the team that would cause the whole team to surprise us if they overperform. But first, so Stroz, I have an intern every single day. And most of them I enjoy talking to. Some of them, a little quieter. Some of them maybe I don't connect with as much. We got one kid who's 17, and like there's 17. It's a very noticeable age difference, which we talked about by the way recently. So I don't talk to him as much. Some of them I really enjoy talking to, and it's made me realize I'm 28, and I feel like I'm in college age still. And I've come up with a theory as to why, but it's such a weird feeling because I'll be talking to these people feeling like we're the same age, and then I'll say something like when we were kids and realize no, when I was a kid. Like when I was a kid, you were like a freaking toddler. Like you weren't speaking yet. And it's so weird. And my theory is this. At 28 years old, I'm still chasing the dream, right? I'm still working in radio. I'm still broke as shit, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay medical bills. And I look at most of my friends my age, and half my friends own houses now. And they're they have money to do fun things. Like they go on cool vacations and they buy nice cars. And so that to me is a step forward in, I don't know what to call it. It's not maturation, but it's just in the steps you go through in life, they're a step ahead of me. And so I almost connect more with these college kids in a way than I do a lot of people my age. I forget how much older I am than some of them. One of them I was talking to, I felt like we were totally the same age. And then they go, "Oh, I can't buy alcohol yet." And I was like, "Oh, fuck." You're 8 years younger than me. When I graduated high school, you were 10. And it's just it's weird, man. I don't want to say it's bad. And I was curious because you seem like a guy who's young at heart, but you say you're not. You say that you're starting to see the other side of it. And I'm curious when that changed for you.
So what I can tell you is when I was working at iHeart, I would have new board ops come in, and I would basically be responsible for showing them the ropes with pretty much everything with DFN and showing them how some of how the radio stations worked, especially when you were doing a club night. And I would basically be sitting with them for 4 hours, maybe 5, depending on what club night it was. And you have different conversations. You talk about different things. You learn about people. And at this time, I was married. I had worked multiple jobs. I was working multiple jobs. It was kind of I was in a weird spot. But what I would tell you is I felt like I connected with them, and I felt like we were on the same level. And They were probably 12 years, maybe 15 years younger than me.
That's where I'm at. Not the same length of age. And it's funny because I'm telling you, we've talked about this a lot. It's a very big theme for me recently in life, I would say. But this one has really made it stand out. Having interns every single day, ranging from 17 to 22. The oldest ones, I'm 6 years older than. And I don't feel that way. And, it's so funny because sometimes, from an experience, a life experience, aspect, like I feel older than them, I guess. But from a like the way I look at life, I feel more like a college kid. Like I'm still all about. We talked about this on the podcast. I'm still about some dumb decisions. I'm in the process of buying a computer, and I have $5,000 in medical debt. I've spent like $800 on computer parts in the last 2 weeks while not paying my $5,000 in medical bills. That's a college kid right there. That's not someone making 35-year-old decisions, and I'm not 35, but I don't think it's someone making 28-year-old decisions. And this, like we've had interns every day for like the last 3 weeks, and it hits me every single day. Like again, one of the 20-year-olds said, "People your age" to me one time, and I was like, "What do you mean, people my age?"
Did you want to hit him?
You know, it didn't make me mad. It made me sad. I was like, "Dude, I thought we were friends."
Them fighting words, homie.
I thought we were connected, man. Like he may or may not have offered me to introduce me to his weed dealer. Like I thought we were cool. I turned him down, but he did offer. But I just like it really made me go like, whoa.
So this is what I would.
It's true though, man. 8 years is a big difference.
It is it's a huge difference. This is what I would tell you though. I think it is something to the proclivities that radio lends itself.
Shut the fuck up. Explain that word. Proclivities.
I broke up my thesaurus. He's
already got it ready. He's got the definition up on Google.
Proclivities. Like lending itself to.
Okay.
Giving
Just say
itself.
that next time.
Okay. So I think it's what radio kind of lends itself to, right? So like with radio, you've got to basically be pop culture-esque. You've got to be able to talk to the masses of your demographic, which in what you're doing, that demographic is anywhere from 18 to basically 50.
I think it makes me feel self-conscious about the fact that I'm all about TikTok. I'm passionate about TikTok. And a lot of people my age, they hate TikTok. But these kids all love TikTok, and I connect with that. And it makes me self-conscious, like, man, do I need to grow up? It does. Honestly, it does. It makes me think, like, do I need to grow up and relate more to the people my age? Because they're going to point out that I'm not their age.
So I don't think you have to grow up. And this is what I'll tell you, right? So I've obviously had a bit of a career shift, and I'm no longer in radio. And I was telling you before the show how I'm sad because I hate my job. Yeah, I love my job. How I'm sad because I hate my job. Most days I usually want to crawl underneath my desk and I want to cry. Or there'll be a point in the middle of the day where I just want to run out of the office and say, fuck this shit, I'm done.
Is that what being a 35-year-old feels like?
What's that?
Is that what being a 35-year-old feels like?
Yeah, pretty much. It's like having a real, like what I would deem a real job.
No, I agree. Real job. I've never worked a real job.
It's one of those things where I don't know. I think you're in a really great spot because you are extremely talented and you are very passionate about what it is that you're doing.
But am I going to be the 45-year-old who like connects with 20-year-olds more than people my age?
I don't know, man. Like,
because maybe it's okay right now, but will it be okay 10 years from now?
I think if you're able to mature a little bit and you're able to spin it a certain way, it works. Like, look, let me put it to you like this: Mojo, right? Mojo's like 50 something. And somehow that guy still connects with a large majority of the audience that he deals with. And they're young. I don't know. And like I've seen him in social settings. He has no problem hobnobbing with bigwigs. So I think you have to find a balance and be able to work both.
There are definitely things that still make me feel like an adult. But like I said, I think the way that I look at life, in a lot of ways, it makes me feel like I connect more with college kids. And to be honest, like I felt like my college experience came while I was in Grand Rapids. Mm-hmm. Because I was in a serious relationship. I didn't go out to bars. Like I didn't do anything. And I started doing that stuff more. I started, going out to bars, dating different people in Grand Rapids, and it was like more of a college experience. And then I came here and I kind of continued it a little bit, but it got disrupted by COVID too. And I don't know, like I feel like I got an interrupted college experience, and at heart, I'm still that guy. At heart, I'm still a college dude. Now, we don't need to stay here much longer.
You basically got college like 1.5 times. Like
exactly
what you really did in college as the half, and then you got Grand Rapids.
Now, We can move on here in a second, but there is something very, 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 very important that I want to get to on your side of this.
Okay.
What did you send to me when I asked if you feel your age?
All right. So I need to give you a little bit of reference first before I tell you. Monday through Friday is such an absolute grind for me. I look forward to nothing more than Friday at about 7:15, 7:30. I usually leave work around 7:15 if I can get out early, just because I don't feel like waiting 15, 20 minutes in the parking lot for all the traffic to clear. So I usually would just sit at my desk and work on something. So I look so forward to Fridays at 7:15, 7:20 because I get to leave my hellscape and I don't have to see it for roughly 2 days. But I'm so tired come Friday evening, I look forward to nothing more than sitting on the girlfriend's couch with all of the dogs. Mind you, we have 3.5.
What's the half dog?
My dog is the half dog. So I've got the French bulldog that's
right.
like 25
I remember.
pounds, 28
I just
pounds.
didn't know if that's what you meant.
Yeah. All her dogs are like 60 to 80 pounds.
I didn't know if like one was a cat.
No, hell no, no cats. All dogs. So I look forward to nothing more than sitting on the couch with all of the dogs because sometimes like I'll go like a day or two without seeing my dog, and that usually makes me sad. And I'll sit with the girlfriend, and we'll usually watch there's usually nothing on TV on a Friday. So like after wrestling, because I have to watch wrestling because I do a wrestling podcast, I'll usually turn on Guys Grocery Games or I'll turn on Bobby Flay and I'll pass out on the couch and I'll be done by 11 o'clock. And I look forward to nothing more than that. I look forward to nothing more than her waking me up saying, hey, it's time to go to bed. And I say, cool, let's go to bed.
I'll admit, I've had that experience like long in the past, like 5-6 years ago. That experience is still a good one. But anyways, continue.
So Friday morning, I was driving into work and one of my best friends messaged me. It was like, hey, my cousin Kevin's birthday was on Sunday and it was Friday night. And he was like, hey, let's go up to Vivio's and let's go see Kevin for his birthday. Because my cousin was DJing at a bar. And I was like, I kind of like drug my feet on it because I knew I wasn't going to have any energy. I knew I wasn't going to want to necessarily go. But I haven't seen my cousin since my other cousin died. And it's his birthday. It's his, like him and his brother were extremely close. And it was a good thing for us to go out and to see him. Let's put it that way. On top of it's his birthday, so why the hell not? So we end up going to the bar, and I was there for probably about an hour and a half. And all of a sudden, you see this waitress start cleaning stuff up, and it's like 10:35. I got so excited because I thought they closed at 11. I was like, "Hey, do you close at 11?" Like excited because I just wanted to go home, and I didn't want to be like the downer of the group and be like, "Oh, I got to go home because I'm tired because I'm old." And I feel it. Mind you, I've got like my one buddy like works at a Coney Island still. Like
so
he works
like at 11.
He works like 3 days. No, they didn't close at 11. They closed at like midnight. So
what did you leave?
I left at 11:50. I left at 11:50. Then I had to go home and watch 2 hours of wrestling. It sucked. This is how my friend group is. It's really, really weird. So I've got a good buddy, like one of my best friends is like works at a Coney Island 3 days a week. And then he runs his own business where he does like whatever he wants for like 2 or 3 days a week. And then like my cousin works 5 days a week, but he gets out of work at like 2. He showed up at the bar already drunk. He went on his boat and drank 8 beers until my other buddy went and picked him up. And then like a lot of the other, what?
I will admit there are people who still party like they're in college. I don't do that one. I've stepped off on some of my partying.
Yeah, I can't anymore, man. Like, here's the thing.
I'm not excited the bar closes at 11, guy, but I'm definitely like not drink all day and continue to drink at night, guy.
I love partying with my sister. My sister is so much fun to hang out with and to party with. But my sister has this party monster that won't go to sleep until 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, bitch, get the fuck out the house. I need to go to bed. It's like 1. It's 2. I'm tired. Leave.
I stayed up till like 4 a.m. on a Saturday playing video games with friends a few months ago. It was a really fun time. Like it felt like being in middle school, having a sleepover.
Was your next day a wreck?
Yeah, it felt like my weekend didn't exist. I got no rest for my weekend because I was on a Saturday night into a Sunday. I woke up at 3 p.m. the next day, and I woke up and started cooking dinner. Like,
That, like, honestly, that's how this past weekend was for me, right? So I ended up hanging out till almost midnight, was up till 2 watching wrestling, and then I was up at 9 to record a podcast that morning. To then on Saturday, what the hell did I do on Saturday?
Do you ever consider that you have too much on your plate?
Dude, I have way too much on my plate. It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts.
You heard it here. The end of the practice squad right here, right now.
Shut up.
We're not even going to finish the episode.
Look, I'm waiting for you to get that next job where you're just like, I can't do it no more. It's interfering with my real job.
I will continue to do the show as long as I reasonably can.
I know you will.
But anyways, I just felt we need to get that out there because I don't think anybody would have expected Stroz is excited the bar is closing at 11 guy.
I was so excited that it was closing at 11, and then I found out it wasn't, and I was sad.
All right, let's get to this final topic here, Stroz. You're curious if we have the same answers. I want to hear your answer first. If insert player here overperforms, surprises us, it could really raise the level of the Lions.
I think if TJ Hawkinson goes off this year.
You fucking cop out, bitch ass motherfucker.
Why?
I can't believe
that is
you
the
planned,
most brutal thing you've ever said to me.
I can't believe you planned this topic to say TJ Hawkinson. If somebody's a good pass catcher, the Lions might be able to throw the ball. No shit. TJ Hawkinson's the player who needs to perform if the offense is going to do anything. I would have respected it more if you said any other pass catcher. Tyrell Williams, Brashad Perriman, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sage Surratt, or however the hell his last name is said.
I don't think any of those guys. Look, St. Brown is a rookie. I'm not expecting a ton there. The other guys, you know what they are. You know what they are. Look, I think Hawkinson is the guy because what that tells you is that Jared Goff has grasped this offense and Hawkinson has taken that next step forward. And I think he is, honestly, he's like the only reliable pass catcher you have or the only guy that you're going to pencil in. Who's your guy?
So I told you I was breaking the rules or bending the rules.
You were.
I'm going to go with Jeff Okudah.
Ooh.
But the reasoning why is because I don't believe that he will succeed with a defense that looks anything like last year's. Mm-hmm. That defense was incapable of getting to the quarterback. Not just bad at rushing the pass rusher, but historically bad at rushing the passer. I think a season where Okudah surprises and looks really good is a season where the defense has taken massive improvements. So in a way, I'm saying Okudah, but in reality, I'm saying if Okudah performs, it's a sign the whole defense is performing.
Mm-hmm. See, I think you could possibly go with, if you wanted to do that, you could possibly go with a guy like Tracy Walker, right? Tracy Walker elevates his game. Now, how does Tracy Walker elevate his game? Does Tracy Walker just get put in better positions because of scheme, or is it because a guy like Jeff Okudah, who's playing in front of him, does better?
I just think like a safety can impress you by, getting to interceptions. Like he can make plays on his own. I think a corner is not just every position in football relies so much on every other position. It's why I love football so much. But corners don't stand a chance when you don't get to the quarterback. And this team was historically bad at it last year. So I just think Okudah has no chance of impressing you. No chance. If it's not for a pass rush. And if they have a good pass rush and Okudah, all of a sudden you're looking like you might have a really good corner, that's the start of a really good defense. I'm not saying that's going to happen. It's just, here's my problem with TJ Hawkinson, man. Like, the Lions are an elite pass catcher away from having some, like, honestly, I'm going to say a good offense. Sure, some quarterback problems, but a good offensive line. I really like the Jonathan Williams signing. We talked about it. I think the running back core is solid.
I think the running back core is solid too.
And if you add an elite receiver to that, which is what TJ Hawkinson overperforming would be, he would be elite. TJ Hawkinson cannot overperform without being elite.
Okay, so let's say TJ Hawkinson takes us to that next level, becomes elite. I think that right there helps this team get better because what it's telling you is that your quarterback is actually performing. And we talked about Jared Goff.
That.
We talked about Jared Goff. Like, Jared Goff has to be able to perform.
I don't know if that's fair, though. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods had good seasons in in Los Angeles with Jared Goff. You could have a bad quarterback and good receiver numbers. I'd say especially when there's nobody else to catch the damn ball.
I don't know. The way I look at it,
TJ Hawkinson is as easy of an answer as Jared Goff.
But here's the thing. You can also throw the ball up and just throw it deep in and hope your wide receiver runs underneath it and catches it and you put up a bunch of yards, have a good season. I think with the way that Hawkinson's going to be utilized and the way that – sorry, bro. I have people interrupting here. I thought somebody was trying to break into my house. The girlfriend says hi to you, B.
That's our wave.
And she brought pizza. Apparently work has been really bad because I'm getting pizza tonight. Anyways, also my dog is here, which is great. I love my dog. But I think, where was I at? Oh, so with Hawkinson, with the way this offense is with the way I see this offense running, this is why I picked Hawkinson. The way I see this offense running, all right, I think it's going to be a lot of stuff underneath. And I think it shows that Goff, one, like I said, grasped the offense, like got it. All right. He was just installed. He finally picked it up. He's working it. Oh, look, we both agree he's got a noodle for an arm. He can't throw the ball deep. It's like his kryptonite. It's his fatal flaw. So by using Hawkinson and putting him in a spot where he becomes this elite pass-catching tight end, I think what you end up having is Goff's numbers look remarkably better. Yeah, I think the interceptions go down. Touchdowns hopefully go up. And on top of that, you've got a number one overall in fantasy, we'll go that way, tight end in TJ Hawkinson. That's why I pick Hawkinson.
It would mean a lot. I think Hawkinson would mean more than almost anybody to the future. Because Hawkinson means you're like a number two receiver away, and obviously a quarterback, but a number two receiver away from providing a rookie quarterback with like a damn good offense. Like I would say, remember when the Lions added Golden Tate, the next level that put them to?
Yes.
I would say that's what you're like a Golden Tate away from presenting a rookie quarterback with a literal ready-made offense. So it would mean a lot long term. I just don't think it would obviously if Hawkinson is good, then you have a good offense. We both kind of cheated. I just think my cheating was less of a problem than yours.
Was less. Well, I think we both agree that this team is going to be bad next year, and they need a lot.
And either of these things, even if both of these things happen, they're still probably pretty bad.
Yeah,
that's the one problem I had with this question is like, who's the one player who can make the Lions win 7 games this year?
That was kind of the point, right? So like, it's kind of a difficult question to answer because we both agree that I don't know. I don't think we've ever like nailed down how many wins you think they're going to have.
Three?
Okay. I was more around
took the
5.
under, which I believe is 5.5.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna go 5. I'm gonna go under as well. So like, what does good really mean? Does that mean you're winning 8 games? Possibly, right?
With this regime, I would tell you winning 9 games with this regime goes holy crap. There's something here. Unfortunately, we're having a hard time drafting a quarterback, but there's something here.
Which makes sense.
I don't have anything else. I'm gonna let you go eat your pizza. It's been a fun show.